Welcome back to the McCown podcast from the NHL Alumni Tournament. Joined now by New York Ranger, Adam Graves. Adam, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here. What a beautiful day, too.
Well, you know, we've talked to a couple of guys already about what the alumni means. What does this organization mean to you?
It's family. I say that it connects all the different generations of players. For us that played in the 90s, you see the Mahoviches and some of the people that played before you. Back yesterday, spent some time with Rick Hadfield, a hero of mine and our friend.
He was one of my heroes too. I love the Rangers. I love the Rangers of the late 60s, early 70s. That was my team.
Oh, unbelievable. And just such gentlemen and senses of humor, but you're just connected. And it doesn't matter. You can talk about whether it's Dougie Killer. I played against him for close to 2 decades, but we're best buddies. You see each other, and there's just such a respect. It's a gift being out here and then having people that support our alumni association, certainly their leadership of Wheels and the whole gang of the alumni association, with the support obviously of the PA and the NHL.
So it's something that I talked to Glenn about right off the top of the show, is that it appears finally that the three groups, the Players Association, the NHL itself, and this group are finally working in concert, and that must be some sort of a relief for somebody like you.
Well, I think so, and certainly without question. I think when you look at it starts with leadership. And best buddies with since our late teens, played in Pravda Cup in Russia back when I think I was 16 years old. Wow. He was making fun of me back then, still does. And he was playing at Western Michigan, I believe, at the time, and then playing against each other. And all I think
he calls that the Notre Dame of the Midwest, doesn't he? Something like that. Or?
Yeah, he has a lot of names for a lot of things, as you know. But for me, it's the journey, it's the people, and the interaction, and the game brings out the best in all of us. And I will tell you that when anyone talks about the game of hockey and people in hockey, they just talk about that humility. Yeah. And for all three groups, that humility brings them together. But it starts with leadership, certainly at the National Hockey League level, and at the NHLPA. What we're at our best when we're together, and I think that's what with Glenn's leadership, certainly leadership of the NHL. It made huge strides, but there's still more strides to do.
I'm just trying to figure out the first time we met. I believe you were playing for Glenn Sather in Edmonton.
Yes.
For the Edmonton Oilers on the way to a Stanley Cup in 1990. Slats has become a great friend over the years. But when you speak about leadership, what did Glenn Sather teach you?
Well, Glenn Sather is one of my favorite people in hockey. As you know, because you're a good friend with him, he does so many quiet things that you never see. And he cares for so many people. When you talk about the success he's had in the game, but like literally 6 decades of excellence, but just so much respect. Mm-hmm. And I was obviously played for him, and he was the manager.
Right.
The manager.
John Muckler was the coach.
Yes. But then you fast forward it to be in Edmonton, and then working alongside him the last 20 years in Edmonton. It's been a gift. And what I will tell you is not only the players on the ice, but the people within the organization and staff. He just has a way of bringing people together and making everyone feel important, accountable, but he has a way of touching everyone. And quite frankly, the last 20 years, I've grown to admire him so much. Just a special man, as you know, and someone that is one of the greats of the game.
So in 1990, I think there was only one game that year that the lights went out in Boston. And then the late Peter Klima, who just passed away this summer, scored that goal, I think, in triple overtime. Were you on the ice?
I was not on the ice. I watched it. And certainly, as you talk about with Peter Klima, I was fortunate enough to be his teammate in Detroit and Edmonton. And we all reflected in that loss. It was a tremendous loss, and someone that we had a lot of fun, and obviously we had a championship. We had fun together for that. And that was he would tell you he had actually loosened the skates.
Yeah.
Almost.
I think he'd only had 3 shifts all game at that point, right?
But it goes to the point. That's the special part of hockey. At some point, when you're part of a championship team, everyone has to contribute in some way. Your block shot can be a hit. It can be you just don't know. And certainly in that situation, Peter Kleeman came up with one of the biggest goals in National Hockey League history. And I'll never forget it, cutting across right shot, and he had the stripes on his stick and put it between Andy both legs.
Andy doesn't like to bring it. I'll see Andy in Penticton in a couple of weeks. I won't bring it up. The other thing was, so you won that cup, and Mess lifting the trophy up at Boston Garden. And then you saw Mark lift it up again in 1994. Had to be a different feeling winning on the road than at home, right?
Yeah, and both are special in their own way. Certainly in Boston, my mom and dad drove down that day. In fact, I saw them on my way into the building. They just got out of the car, whatever it was, 12-hour drive. I'm not sure what that. And I'll never forget, after the game, there was 10 seconds left. I often say this, but we had the leather benches in Boston. I was standing on the bench looking for them. And because I was one of the younger guys in the team, one of the kids, their seats happened to be behind one of the pillars, so I couldn't see them. So, anyways, they watched the game around the pillar and found them. And then my mom and dad came down, drank out of the cup. I remember my dad at the restaurant in the back kitchen with an apron on cooking. And but that was the uniqueness and the special part of being part of it. Every team, but certainly championship team, is just how close you are, family. And Mark Mess was such a big proponent of the locker room was for family too, and that's extended family. So I'll never forget, we talked with our own family where they'd come down to New York and they'd be watching TSN in the morning. And so today, I was kidding. I said, here's the evolution of hockey. You started with donuts, Timmy's Donuts and Timbits and muffins, and then you moved and you had some egg and some protein in that. And then at the end of the table, they had the protein drinks. I said, that's the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, down to modern day, all on a table at breakfast. So, and that's why Glenn is so representative of, here we go, of everything we do.
You do have a caddy with you right now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Could we have room for another trophy? You got to get in behind me here. We got the Masterton and the King Clancy. We couldn't get the cup here for gravy, but I thought I'd bring all the trophies.
You have to take this stuff.
Where's my trophy for being his buddy for
no, that's
30,
you know what that is?
40 years.
That's one of those participation awards.
Started in Russia.
That's 39 years.
Wow.
Started in Russia.
39 years.
He was 12. I was 32.
I asked him at the top of the show how many games he started in that 94 season in the playoffs, and he didn't really respond very quickly.
Well, Keenan is the coach. I finished every one of them.
Hey, I will tell you that I've never laughed more in a season of hockey than that particular year. Guys couldn't wait to get to the rink every day.
Remember where that season started too, right?
Yes, in
London, England. Right?
In the mustard.
The French's mustard
Cup.
I'll
never forget that.
And they needed to go over to the to the swap meet.
Make it quick. This thing's heavy.
You can go now.
He's got the bagpipes. You should be able to hold that.
Exactly. I know they actually had to go next door to the flea market to buy a trophy because they forgot the trophy at the hotel. I think, isn't that right, Glenn?
And it didn't look like this one, I can tell you.
So, listen, Adam, thank you very much. By the way, how are the Rangers going to be this?
You know what? I really think that this team, nothing's linear. There's ups and downs to everything, and I think it's although with the signing of Wheeler, as far as age is concerned, but I still think they're very young. I think those signings are going to be very beneficial moving into the season when you have Shesterkin in net and then Quick.
Right.
Yeah, they give you a chance to win every night. This young defense is going to get better, surrounded, with Fox and Trouba. I think a heck of a captain. I'm excited for this Ranger team.
Thanks for this, Adam.
Yeah, please. Always a pleasure. Thank you.